What up, what up? I'm Ellis Williams, and this is On the Record. Today we're linking back up with Damian Lemar Hudson, an artist we connected with before, whose sound continues to push into bold cinematic territory. This one's special. It's the final interview from my time out in LA, and we're closing it out with his track Mr. Machine. We get into the tension between technology and humanity, and how those ideas shape the sound, the message, and its potential in forward-thinking sync spaces. So let's dive in, unpack, and get on the record with Damon Lamar Hudson.
So let's just get right into it. How did you know this song was finished, not just structurally, but emotionally?
How did I know this song was finished in terms of the structure and the arrangement? Well, Mr. Machine was a very challenging song. Maybe one of the most challenging songs I've ever written in my career. Mainly because I was collaborating with the best musicians up until this point in my life I've ever had the opportunity to write and collaborate with. And let's just say everyone has a bit of ego, and it was really challenging to get to the finish line. The hardest part about that was getting them to trust me, knowing that the song was ready and finished. Because oftentimes when you work with other recording artists who maybe don't have as many tracks within their catalog, they're a bit more apprehensive or nervous about putting themselves out there. Mm-hmm. To me, at this point, I believe that's the 101st song that I have submitted and published via ASCAP and just into DSPs. So I just kind of don't really think about it. I'm like, okay, this is it. It's done. It sounds good. When it sounds good, it's done. I will say, me and fellow Mirror House artist Drew Kapner went back and forth on a couple edits. Originally, when I was in Miami, I was on tour with Julian, and I was listening to it just with the iPhone, AirPods, and I knew there was too much reverb. So it took about a month to find that right sound and that right pocket, that right space. Because initially Drew's first pass was very like spacey. And I was like, no, Drew, you got to be right in the room. I want you right on top of these drums. I want those horns like right on the back of your neck. You know, like everything needs to feel like it's right here, and you're right in the same atmosphere with the musicians, because I really wanted it to sound like a live track. So the second he nailed that, I was like, it's done.
That's the tough thing about like when you're finishing songs and you're like, okay, it's done, it's in publication. You're gonna grow as an artist. You know, your ear is gonna catch certain things that you didn't hear when you was writing the song. So I know there's probably moments when you listen back and you're like, man, I'm gonna have to do a remaster of this, or maybe I want to do you ever have those moments where you're just like, no, I'm at peace. That was me in that moment, and I captured it, and it's out there in the world.
There was one riff vocally that I used to kind of like, maybe I should have, but to be honest, this one, not really. This song we took so long to perfect, and there was so much in between time getting everything together and everyone to agree and to sign off on the splits, that by the time we were at the finish line, really, I think if I played that song right now, there's not much I hear that I could change or would change. The only thing that I do think about sometimes is, hey, maybe we didn't need like the tribal intro that really kind of tells a different story and a different side to the coin. Because in this day and age, it's 2026 now, not to date this video, but people's attention spans they're very limited. And perhaps if we just would have cut right into Mr. Machine, maybe the song would have landed a little different. You know how many people swipe up when you get 7 seconds of air or, ocean waves going back and forth.
True.
We need to see the mermaid come out of the water. We need to see the whale jump immediately, or we're going to keep swiping.
But you know what? That's the tricky part about where we are in music. People would argue, oh, well, music today isn't music that's going to last. Even though, of course, we work in sync licensing and we're trying to pitch all this stuff, and people want stuff like, I need it right now. We need it for this film or whatever. Some of the best songs that were ever made was for a film, and they had a long intro. They had a setup, and they had a punch and all that to really take the artist or take the listener to that next level. Yeah, I mean, he know, but it's just like when you're making these songs, you kind of have to think at a certain point, how do I want this to last? Is this something that maybe right now it might be something that they don't get, but how will it grow in time? I really think Mr. Machine is a track that you can go back to and you're like, nah, everything was meant to be. That intro is what hits. It takes them right where I need them. I mean, of course, we feel the way we do because of where we are right now. But I think it's exactly what it needs to be.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And that sounds amazing to hear from your ears and your palate as, a music supervisor on behalf of Mirror House in terms of the sync world. That's really cool and comforting to hear because, like I said, I was a little self-conscious, about that long intro, but to hear that coming from you, knowing what you know and all the experience you have in this industry, in this sector of the industry, thank you for that, because I'll get some more sleep at night.
I'll definitely say this, just speaking of other music supervisors, everyone's different, you know, and you never know what's going to call for the project. So that's why I always say it's great to have alternate versions. You have a short version, you have Mr. Machine, the long version, just like how they did back in the day. They would have they would have that Chic track, and it was just like you have the radio version that's 3 minutes long, then you have the extra long disco version that's 15 minutes just for people that want to dance all night. And so it's great. It's great to be prepared. But yeah, no, that's cool. I actually you made me think of something else. When it came to the business side of it, right? When you had to get all the splits signed, you had all those guys in a room. What was that like? You said you had something back and forth, of course, when it came to finishing, but when it was okay, it's done, let's get everybody to sign this, let's agree, was there any pushback or anything with that, or was it just sign it, let's go home?
Once again, I think everyone was cool with the percentage in terms of the slice of the pizza. It was very even though I wrote the lyrics, and even though me and the keyboardist brother James Johnson came up with this amazing foundation. If me and him wanted to, we could have ran with it and said, no, we made this song, you guys just blah blah blah. But I don't believe that's ever the healthy way to move in this industry, knowing what I know, knowing the fires that I've been through. I think it's best just to split it equally. It's not Benny and the Jets. It's just the Jets. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
But when push came to shove, the song ended up being locked in, Damian Lemar Hudson. Now that was a business move on behalf of In Voyager Records. That was me okay, either we create a brand new band, and I sign the band to In Voyager Records, and we release the song as Locked In all on In Voyager Records, or we put the song out as Locked In is the band, and we put a semicolon there, and we credit Damian Lemar Hudson as the additional artist. Therefore, overnight, Locked In is born, and it lives on Damian Lemar Hudson DSPs as well. Now, just to coattail off of that, I think it was the challenge was in the arrangement and the confidence behind the musicianship and completion of the song. That was the challenge. In terms of business, there really was no argument or anything, or it wasn't challenging or tough in that regard. It was just, some individuals had a different creative outlook. Originally, there was an alternative version of the song that featured more cinematic kind of aspects, and it was a slightly different arrangement. And in the long run, the group voted for the version that is now, and we moved that forward. But it was extremely challenging to get it there, to the point to where I honestly said, I don't know if Locked In will be doing another song.
But you know what? I think the business side, how easy that was going, like, that's the beauty of it. I think that's what most people want, because you want people to have things to say for the creative side. You want people to have some pushback, because at the end of the day, it just proves that everybody wants the same thing. They want a good record, and
that's true.
They're all in, and I think that's beautiful.
That's true.
The fact that by the time you guys were able just to sign it out of line and everyone came to an agreement, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
real beautiful. Go ahead.
And just to coattail off of that, every member of Locked In -1 was at NAMM on Saturday. Unplanned.
Wow. Oh, dang.
So
could have done a whole show.
Yeah, could have pulled up with some speakers and did a performance outside when everybody's walking out.
Now, if I would have seen y'all play and I had my horn, I would have been like the ninth member or whatever.
All that being said, I agree with you. Everyone had the same mentality. At the end of the day, we just wanted to make the best record, and everyone wanted to make sure that, we put our best foot forward. And, there's no hard feelings to any of the members of the band. It's just, I believe music shouldn't be as challenging, and I've never been a part of a project that was that challenging, and it was just one song.
Yeah.
But because of that, I still think to this day, Mr. Machine was like the dopest shit that came out last year. Like, I don't care what you say. Whoever, determines what the greatest song is, record of the year, song of the year, of course it's a life dream of mine to get a Grammy. But even though we're not having that honor of being nominated or recognized, I still think at this point in my career, it's my best song yet. So I'm looking forward to expanding and definitely collaborating with some of the gentlemen again. I always wanted a band, and I always wanted to be a part of a band, but after 2025, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, it has to make sense. You can't force it.
You're right.
Music,
you're right.
You cannot force something.
You're
you can't
right.
force 5 people in a room and just expect everything to just be, this long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. There's going to be some tension.
You're right.
And we have to understand, is the tension worth it? Can we repair the tension? Do people storm out of the room? Or is there screaming on the phone? Is there, it doesn't need to be all of that. It's,
You're right.
It's just music, right?
You're right.
And we're here to give service to the world, to entertain the world, to inspire the world through music. So there can't be any,
You're right. You're right.
negative energy when the creation of that. The magic's finished.
You're right. But I'll tell you this. It's never too late to make that song, be Grammy bound. I'll just say that. We can talk more about that off camera. But let's have a sync question for our last question. I have a sync question for you. So remove yourself from the creative side of the song, and you're a consumer. And you hear this song. My personal opinion, I feel like this song is very, very relevant to where we're at today and where we're going in society. If you're listening to that song, how would you see that song being used visually? What type of emotion is that song giving a scene, in your opinion? Remove yourself creatively.
Okay. I'm not the writer.
Whew.
I just heard it for the first time. It's vibrant. It is pulsating. It is energetic. It is inspirational. It is empowering. It is uplifting. It is special. It's daring. It's aggressive. It's attitude. It's angst. It's rebellion. It's fighting against the system. It's there's a sense of anarchy or no, and it's also cutting edge. It also kind of suggests something technological. It also kind of suggests, the other side, to play devil's advocate, is the machine, right? Which is very artificial, which is very plastic, which is very Devo, whip it good, like what's really going on here? It's Aro Gato, Mr. Roboto. It has this Daft Punk kind of energy to it that is very much, is it human after all? Is this natural, or is this where we're going? The future? Is this a representation of what is to come?
That's Mr. Machine, y'all. Like, it's a song that is more of a commentary, a social commentary, but it also sparks thought and inspiration. So you heard the man here talk about it. You can check it out on our disco catalog, Mr. Machine. Thank you so much for coming out here and talking about it. Look forward to seeing you back here next time for part 2.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Blessings.
Anytime.
Dope.
Stay connected with us on YouTube and Instagram for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes access, and the latest releases. For more in-depth updates, stories, and insights, be sure to follow us on Substack. So, have a great rest of your day. Peace.